It's time to talk sports. It's Hacksaw's Headlines, a panorama of the world of sports, stories, comments, and opinions.
Touchdown, San Diego!
Now, here's iconic sports talk show host Lee Hacksaw Hamilton and co-host John Riley.
Who wants to talk sports on a Monday? We do, you do. From the DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Center studios in San Diego, coming off a great sports weekend, we welcome you to our Monday bonus podcast. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, along with my co-host, John Riley, and we welcome you to our Monday podcast, brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. Lots of locations to serve you in San Diego. Got projects, they've got materials, want ideas, they can be your best friend and your consultant. Go to DIXIELINE.com to see all the things that they have to offer to you. John Riley, what a weekend in the NFL. Here comes Black Monday. Have we got a lot of things that we're going to cover?
Yeah, I mean, there are dead bodies on the side of the road in the NFL right now.
That's my phrase. You're plagiarizing my phrase. But yeah, we're going to talk a lot of NFL. We will talk Major League Baseball. We got news and notes from other sports items. And just a reminder, we do sports talk the way it should be done on this podcast. We put a lot of topics on the table. When we are done, we open it up to you. It's called Fans Forum. John is the one that created it. I'll let you explain how everybody who joins us on live stream can then join us at the end of the podcast and actually become a co-host.
Yeah, join us on the podcast. You have a question or comment in the world of sports. You take objection to something that Hacksaw's talked about.
The way he dresses.
Yeah, this is your chance. So just drop your hot take in the live chat on YouTube, on X, on Facebook. We'll get you involved in Fans Forum.
A couple of reminders. Want you to share and subscribe. Tell everybody what we do. We're here Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30. Want you to subscribe. When you subscribe, you therefore get immediate notification when we put additional videos up on the YouTube channel, and we do a lot of that. Also want you to be part of my Insiders group. Check my website. I write on it every morning of the day, LeeHacksawHamilton.com, the best 15 minutes in sports, in addition to my One Man's Opinion column. And then you can get our newsletters by registering, getting on the email list by virtue of being on my website. So make sure you stay with us. Follow me on social media at Hacksaw1090, or just type in my name, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, hit the follow button. We are off and running, and we're going to talk all things second season. All things NFL's second season about to begin.
Yeah, the Chargers kind of are sliding into the playoffs backwards.
Yeah, let's first of all look about the out-of-town scoreboard, what happened over the weekend in the National Football League. The Chargers went to Denver. They rested 14 starters. Did not put a competitive product on the field, didn't care. They got beat by Denver. Denver played really poorly, and that's the most surprising aspect of what happened on Sunday. The Bolts have now lost back-to-back games. Not a lot of momentum as they go into postseason play. They are troubled 11-6. I'll tell you what, I sat there and watched that thing yesterday. It looked like a lousy August third week preseason game. It was really poor football. They rested their starters by virtue of protecting them from injuries. I understand that. Now they got back-to-back losses. There is no momentum. Trey Lance, the quarterback. San Francisco gave up all those draft picks years ago to get Trey Lance. He's hardly started, hardly played at all. We saw all of his athleticism. Wow. Kind of looks like Colin Kaepernick. We saw the fact that he's not a polished quarterback at all. Kid defense, I thought, played it very well. I don't know where Bo Nix in the offense and the rhythm was in Denver. If I'm Sean Payton, I'm a little bit worried because that Denver team on the last weekend of the season looked like the Denver team that started out of the gate really slowly. Denver just looks so out of sync. End of the day, season over, 11-6, no momentum. Justin Herbert gets another week to get healthy, and they got to get on a plane and go to New England. The only saving grace is it's not going to be a short work week because the league has decided to have the Justin Herbert-Drake May matchup be Sunday Night Football. If they had put them on Saturday in the early game, that would have been brutal for the Chargers. So they'll get extended prep time plus the rest for all those starters. Maybe to be a different Charger team going there, but they don't look primed for the playoffs. I don't care what Harbaugh says in his press conferences, and he didn't say very much after the ugly loss in Denver, but I'm sorry. I think they're one and done again.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look good for the team. I mean, because I'm just shocked that they're 11-6. I mean, after all the injuries that they've suffered, it's remarkable they're even over 500.
Thank you, Superman.
Yeah, so now you got to go back to New England. We remember all those Charger games going back to play in New England. Remember when Phillip Rivers had no ACL and Tomlinson had that kind of down game there? We've got a lot of bad history there with Chargers, Patriots in New England, but I don't think they're going to have a chance. I think they're just going to get steamrolled.
The only thing I'll throw into that conversation is New England has not played anybody. And Vrabel's really upset at his own media, which has brought this up. The composite record of everybody New England's played is 386. It's the worst percentage of opponents in the league. They played the easiest schedule in the league. Hats off to them for being there at 14-3. But who have you played? Justin Herbert's going to come in and make a game of it. Granted, it isn't Foxborough. And from the Chargers' standpoint, they're never going to say it. They have to regret. They have to lament. How the hell did the Chargers lose to the lowly Giants?
Oh, yeah.
How do you lose to Washington? How do you lose to Houston early when Houston wasn't playing very well at all? So, I mean, there's 3 losses there that change everything. And everything would have meant if you'd won those games, you'd be playing here in the sunshine at home. So, Chargers created the situation for themselves, so they go in. They got to go play New England. It'll be great. It'll be great watching Justin Herbert versus Drake May, 2 of the young Lions there.
Yeah, looking forward to the game. Looking forward to the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, playoffs are going to be fun. You're a Charger fan? Feel free. Fans Forum chat box is open. Express an opinion as to what you see. Topic number 2 is all about the NFL because we were scoreboard watching.
Scoreboard watching. Not a lot of good games this weekend.
No, there really were some ugly ones, but the best one was Saturday. Yeah, that was a message game. What Seattle did to San Francisco, I'm really surprised you showed up to work today. 49er fan here, incognito in the closet. Seahawks, slinging Sam Darnold. Man, he is dazzling. He's just got a lot of brass. He puts balls in places he shouldn't put balls in, but for the most part, he completes them. Their running game. They ran for 190 against the 49ers. I tell you, the defense. This resembles the Legion of Doom back when they had that run of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This is a really, really good defense, and they slammed San Francisco's quarterback around. They held Christian McCaffrey to 57 all-purpose yards. He hardly got any touches because San Francisco hardly got the football at all. And maybe this is just the end result of what's been a grind of a season for the 49ers. They've fought through so much adversity with injuries, and maybe it whacked them on a Saturday game. But Seattle is the real deal. We'll talk about the Rams. Rams scorched Arizona. Okay. Rams still have to win on the road. That's the problem. Their last 3 games, they've lost away from home, and they're going to be on the road in the playoffs. Matthew Stafford throws for 259, 4 more touchdowns. How about Stafford? 4,700 yards passing and 46 touchdowns this season. Puka Nacua caught 10 more. The defense went out, got 3 more sacks, 2 more takeaways. They go to Carolina. Early game Saturday. That's going to be a bit of a challenge. Return to the scene of the crime. You know, that's where they hit the skids in bad weather weeks ago. And like I say, they've lost. Rams have lost their last 3 road games. So there's going to have to be a statement that's going to have to be made not to turn the football over. Jacksonville trashed Tennessee. What a finish to the season. I don't know anybody thought this was going to happen. They go 13-4. Trevor Lawrence, reborn. He looks like the quarterback that they drafted out of Clemson, who would get the ball down the field, would run them, move the pocket, score touchdowns, etc. That relationship with he and Liam Cohen has really, really been impressive. Cohen has changed the whole persona of Trevor Lawrence. He changed the whole persona of the Jacksonville defense. Jaguars are going to be home. They're going to play Buffalo. What a hell of a first-round game that is going to be. Houston outguns Indianapolis. Boy, those Texans are smoking now. They've won 12 of their last 14. Offense, C.J. Stroud making enough plays. Defense, getting after it. Houston is indeed the real deal. The Patriots, they pound it, they throw it, they take it away. 14-3. They were really resentful of the Boston media, kept harping on, who'd you play? Mike Vrabel just kind of, guys, we're 14-3. We played who was on the schedule. Who'd you play? Would they play one team with a winning record? Oh my goodness! So there's a lot of people questioning in their own town Patriot football, but Vrabel's done a good job. And I said early on, way back when they hired him, dude will change the culture. And they made a lot of changes on the roster, and the kid quarterback got better and better. Pittsburgh, holy cow, Sunday heartstopper. 5 lead changes in the fourth quarter. You didn't sit down. You were yelling at the TV like my wife was yelling at the TV.
That was a wild one.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, tell you, dazzling, throws for 297. He has had statistically a really good season. He's gotten more consistent, more dangerous week by week. And they did that last night, this last-minute win, without DK Metcalf. And now going to get Metcalf back for the wild card playoff game at home. Lamar Jackson, I mean, he did as much as he could. 2 touchdowns, 2 bombs to Zay Flowers on blown coverages. They got to be sick to themselves because they're playing much better offensive football. Derrick Henry pounded the ball against Pittsburgh's tough guy defense. But, boy, the missed PAT, missed field goal. What a wild finish to the game. Pittsburgh moves on. They get Houston. Raiders beat Kansas City as if it meant anything, but I guess that's a period and exclamation point of the fall from grace of Chief football. They finished 6-11. Who could ever imagine that? But that's with a third-string quarterback. They just can't move the football. So that's the end of a miserable season there. Raiders, miserable defense all year. They had 8 quarterback sacks and 2 takeaways against Kansas City.
Wow.
It's like Kansas City just waved the white flag, and they've just got to do a lot of inner searching in Kansas City as to how to fix that. Daniel Carlson was fun to watch. 4 field goals, including a 55 and a 60-yarder at the end of the game to get the Raiders the victory. And the Raiders not only won a game finally, the Raiders get the number 1 pick in the draft. And this will be interesting. We'll have this conversation multiple times going forward. Who's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft? And Cleveland, they beat Cincinnati. How the hell do the Bengals lose to the Cleveland Browns? It was not Shedeur Sanders who won the game for them. Cleveland won it on a 47-yard fumble return for a touchdown and a 97-yard pick six for a touchdown. Shedeur had 48 yards passing into the third quarter, finished with 111, no touchdowns. Myles Garrett got his record, 23 quarterback sacks, sets an all-time single-season record in the National Football League. So, we're scoreboard watching. Those are the top games. I'm sorry the 49ers got slugged, but I think it's been a fabulous season. I think it finally caught up to them. Now, can they take a deep breath? But they got to get on the plane, and they got to go to Philadelphia to play. So you want to talk about Seattle's win, the Rams win, what Jacksonville's become. Houston's so damn dangerous. Do you like New England? Question New England? Go, John, the table is yours.
Yeah, the 49ers were kind of flying at a higher altitude than I think most anyone expected. Even if they didn't have injuries, because we all thought that it was going to be the Rams and maybe the Seahawks number 2 in the NL West when we started the year. But Purdy was out for half the year. Kittle was out for half the year. You got Fred Warner's been out all year. Bosa is out pretty much all year. So it's amazing that Shanahan's kept this thing together. But Seahawks are legit and good on them, and when they're the number 1 seed, haven't they usually always made the Super Bowl when they've been the number 1? So good on them. There were so many crap games over the weekend. They were just it was like a placeholder weekend before the playoffs start. Sure, we had the Carolina Tampa game in the rain, but that's like the group of 5 division in the NFL, so we've had all of this, there was some jockeying for position for playoff spots, but for the most part, it was a boring weekend with the exception of the Niners, Seahawks, and the final game, the Steelers and the Ravens. Yep. And that fourth quarter was crazy, especially with that kid, Loop, missing the field goal. I mean, what happens? It just makes you wonder what's going on in his mind. He must be overthinking it, just telling himself, don't screw it up, and then he screws it up.
And he powers it and kicks it right at the upright. But he's a rookie.
Yeah.
And that stuff happens. But Boswell missed a point after, too. That's the Pittsburgh kicker in that stadium. So
yeah, but he's like money, that guy.
Was, exactly.
Yeah. And then, by the way, the Raiders, it's just weird. Like, both the Raiders and the Giants won in their last game, didn't they?
Yeah.
And you thought they would try to lose to try to keep that number one pick. But, yeah, just the whole weekend was just kind of...
Like I said, it felt like the third weekend of August, which is the meaningless exhibition game.
Yeah.
Why am I sitting here watching all this NFL? So there were so many bad games. Take a deep breath, because come Wild Card Saturday, Wild Card Sunday, that'll be must-see TV.
Well, how about Myles Garrett? That was a highlight from the Browns game.
Yeah, now he's a pretty good football player, and he's been doing it on a really bad team. Now he's getting paid an enormous amount of money. And, a year ago this time, was he going to trade me or love me? Well, they loved him, and they gave him the contract extension, which further deepened their salary cap problems in Cleveland. But at the end of the day, Myles Garrett's a great player. 23 quarterback sacks. I mean, everybody double teams him. They know he's coming. They're going to put 2 and they're going to chip block on him. And he still got 23 sacks, which is a hell of an accomplishment.
Wow. Yeah, good on him.
Yep. Okay, that's all things from the NFL scoreboard. You want to comment? You didn't like third week of preseason football in January, did you? Jump on board. Fans Forum chat box is open. Give us an opinion. We go from that to what we knew was going to happen. Black Monday equals pink slips.
Yeah, heads are rolling here.
Oh, brutal. We had one coaching firing at 10 o'clock last night. We had 3 more within 1 hour early today around the National Football League. So there are 4 vacancies this weekend on top of the 2 that happened early. The Raiders get rid of Pete Carroll. This, to me, I think is uncalled for. They finished 3-14. They get the number 1 pick in the draft. Will it be Tom Brady's decision who they're going to hire as head coach? Is Mark Davis ever going to step aside from the disaster that he's allowed to create under his nameplate? And did Carroll get treated unjustly? Not enough time, I think. That's a great coach. This guy's record in Seattle was like 139-75. And by the way, dude was in Super Bowls. What he did at USC was absolutely phenomenal. I'm just so amazed that they hit the eject button on Pete Carroll. Tom Brady's influence, it's going to have to be important, because I surely would never sit across a table and expect to hear anything of credibility from Mark Davis in an interview. And John Spytek, of course, had credentials as a front office exec in Tampa. Tom Brady obviously has to carry the clout as to what is the right type of coach to go in there. Second guy fired was Kevin Stefanski. The guy had a sub-500 record in Cleveland, but that being said, the whole situation in Cleveland was rigged because of the quarterback crisis dictated by the owner, Jim Haslam. He's the one that mandated, let's trade for Deshaun Watson. And they never recovered, not from giving up all the draft picks, not from the salary cap hell they put him in by giving Deshaun Watson $230 million in total guaranteed money, and the fact they couldn't keep any of their offensive tackles healthy. This is an organizational failure, not a Kevin Stefanski failure. So he shares the blame. He's going to get hired immediately. Now you got all these jobs open. Somebody's got a young quarterback, wants a coach with experience. Stefanski's a 2-time coach of the year in the NFL. He's had a lot of crap seasons around him because of the Deshaun Watson decision mandated by the owner. So he's gone. The surprise firing that has not happened is with the New York Jets. That Aaron Glenn situation is a disaster. First of all, they have no quarterback. Now, granted, they have the second pick in the draft now. It'll be very interesting to see what keeping Glenn and keeping the new general manager, Darren Muji, by the way, former Aztec tight end, Darren Muji, is in his second year, how they solve the quarterback situation. So Raiders will have their choice, Mendoza or maybe Dante Moore if Moore comes out. The Jets will have their choice of whichever quarterback is still on the board. Dallas, we're not talking about the head coach in firing. We're waiting for the defensive coordinator to get fired. I'm led to believe that's going to happen shortly. And I'm led to believe if Dallas removes Elberfluss as the defensive coordinator after less than a year on the job, then why would you keep him? What a disaster that was. They'll go get or try to get Brian Flores of Minnesota, who's really good. They got a ton of athletes that the Cowboys have stockpiled. They just couldn't play the system that Eberflus wanted. Brian Flores will solve that. So no firing in New York. Will be a firing a defensive coordinator in Dallas. Arizona, I don't know whether or not this guy, Jonathan Gannon, could be a good coach. They won early when he got there. The question is, should they fire Gannon or should they have gotten rid of Kyler Murray? Murray doesn't fit what Gannon wants to do. Murray can't stay on the field at quarterback. He's always hurt. This is an organizational problem. With apologies in advance to friends in the Valley of the Sun, they should fire Michael Bidwill, the owner.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a big freaking disaster there in Arizona. But John Gannon is gone. And then Atlanta, they hit the eject button on Raheem Morris. This was his second tour of duty as a head coach. And when you're 36 at 59 and you've been given all these opportunities, and they had a lot of good young players that they stockpiled, from the quarterback to the running back who's a stud to the tight end to the wide receiver. They've got people. They just didn't win. Raheem Morris was 36 and 59, so they hit the eject button on him. They also fired the general manager, Terry Fontenot. So, I mean, they have cleaned the slate completely in Atlanta, so they're going to have to make a lot of changes there. So that's my opinion. I thought it was unfair. What happened to Stefanski, I thought it was a little premature to hit the eject button on Pete Carroll. There were other guys. You don't win, you don't keep your job, but some of this was also ownership's problem too. John, you have an opinion, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, look at those logos. I mean, there's no first-class organization in that list. No. I mean, maybe Dallas, but their results don't prove it on the field. I mean, when was the last time they were even in the NFC Championship game? It's been forever. So the Raiders firing Pete Carroll surprised me, because we both thought he was a really good pick at this point in the evolution of the Raiders to try to make this team, kind of bring some personality, some culture into the clubhouse. But it makes me wonder now that the game has changed so much, because so many of these coaches like Ben Johnson and Kyle Shanahan and, of course, Andy Reid, they're like playing 4D chess. They're playing at a superhuman level where maybe old school football guys can't really accomplish that. So if you don't have that kind of that sort of thinking mind and a playbook to back it up, you're going to be doomed for mediocrity in the NFL.
These X's and O's are different than Pete Carroll's X's and O's,
yes.
What you're saying.
Yes.
I think there's probably some validity there. But this is the end result of crap drafts. This goes all the way back to Mark Davis, John Gruden. And, I mean, John, when you get spare time with a cup of coffee, I want you to run through top draft picks, Raiders, last 10 years. Tell me how many of those guys panned out. That starts with Gruden and all the bad baggage guys he got, and they cut, and guys in prison, guys out of the NFL, guys in rehab, guys with guns.
When was Jamarcus Russell? I mean, that was
2007. That was an Al Davis. But, yeah, I mean, but that's a byproduct that when you pick as many bad picks, Max Crosby's not a bad pick, he's a hell of a player. Mm-hmm. But when you make as many bad picks, it builds and builds and builds. And so Pete Carroll walks in there, and they are destitute of talent for the most part on the roster.
Well, do you think Mark Davis actually meddles with the draft, or tells them pick this guy, not that guy? Maybe he thinks he's smarter than everyone else?
No, but Mark Davis is the one that hires the coaches and the general managers who are making these choices that don't pan out. Mm. So, pointing right here.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
Yeah.
Stefanski, Cleveland, that's just a quarterback crisis that he had no control over.
Yeah, that whole Deshaun Watson thing has just been a disaster from the start. Mm-hmm. I mean, with not only on the field, the injuries and the personal problems and the legal issues. And, so Cleveland needs to turn the page. But, yeah, Stefanski, it's like when the Padres got rid of Bruce Bochy. Boom, he's going to get scooped right up.
Yeah, I would think Stefanski and the ex-Cowboy head coach, Mike McCarthy, got to be locks to be interviewed and maybe be on the finals list. Where? New York Giants, Jackson Dart. Where? Tennessee Titans, Cam Ward.
Those are good fits.
Yeah, so we'll see where it goes. Coaching carousel, spinning wildly out of control. We now have 6 head coaching openings in the league. Feel free, jump on board. Fans Forum chat box is open. You like the NFL? We know the NFL. We talk about the NFL here. John, next topic.
Okay, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about the transfer portal. A lot of quarterbacks in the transfer portal, Lee.
Well, this whole thing has just gone so out of control. When we did the Friday podcast, which was the beginning of the transfer portal, 4,010 players went in the portal the first 4 hours.
Oh, my God.
Through Sunday, 4,000 – I'm sorry, what's the number I'm looking for? I'd written it down. I don't have it right here.
It was 4,010, I thought.
4,010 the first 4 hours.
4 hours.
And the first 3 days, it was 4,350, I think it was.
Wow.
That's amazing. Anyhow, lickety-split, snap of the fingers, the quarterbacks are coming off the board, going everywhere. Kentucky got probably the most experienced quarterback. They got Sam Leavitt, who left Arizona State after 2 great years.
Wow. He's
gone to the University of Kentucky. The Sun Devils turned around, and they got Cutler Boley. A lot of people don't know him. This is a 5-star recruit who had committed to Kentucky. But when they fired the coach at Kentucky, kid went into the portal. So in essence, UK and ASU swapped quarterbacks.
Oh, interesting.
That's really interesting. Oklahoma State, I told you so. Drew Mestecker, North Texas State quarterback, follows his coach, goes to Oklahoma State. Indiana, Josh Hoover, Texas Christian. Record-setting big thrower. He is signed at IU for next season.
Wow.
The kid, he's accomplished, like Fernando Mendoza was accomplished. North Carolina. Yeah, this works. Belichick and the Babe. They get Billy Edwards. He's a transfer who started at Maryland, defected, went to Wisconsin, got hurt, never got back on the field. So he's going to his 3rd school in less than 3 years. That's because 3 quarterbacks that the hoodie brought in to Chapel Hill last year didn't pan out. So they've gotten Billy Edwards from Wisconsin to go to North Carolina. Nebraska's got a lot of turmoil. They lost their quarterback, Riola. He's in the portal recovering from injury. Nebraska just signed Kevin Minchie, big star recruit from Notre Dame. And Central Florida got Alonzo Barnett. He's the kid from James Madison that set all the passing records the last couple of years. So this is just right off the top. You know, within 3 days, look at all the guys, the quarterbacks have moved. There'll be more movement coming and going.
Look at Cignetti, man. I mean, Cignetti has completely changed everything in the Big Ten.
His calling card is a magnet to talent.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to attract a lot of these really high-profile transfers. Now the Big Ten's got another big boy in that conference.
Yep.
So it's just incredible how much he's changed things. And, yeah, it was interesting seeing that Messmaker kind of moving from North Texas to Oklahoma State to follow his head coach. That makes sense. So these guys, they just reload.
These guys get paydays. That's where it is. So you're into college football. I guess part of me says, God, this is cool to cover. College football free agencies like NFL free agency, like baseball free agency. But I'm sorry, college football's broken. This is an absolute wreckage.
Oh, yeah.
What's been left behind. Nobody can keep their own players. So we use that. You want to comment in the fans forum? Feel free to join us. You like the brand of college football we have right now? Or you agree with me the damn system's broken and now it's really out of control? We'll talk what we just did nationally with you. We're going to talk about what's happening here in town, too.
Yeah, and here's the transfer list for San Diego State.
They've got 25 in the transfer portal as of about noon today. I've tried to keep a running list here, but they've lost virtually every cornerstone piece of their defense. And that's too bad. The capitalist to my left, wearing the blue hoodie, is of the opinion players have a right to earn money. Paydays go. Where's the loyalty? Coaches worked hard, recruited these kids, coached them up. End result, kids are in the transfer portal, and they are out of here. How do you build a program? I feel bad for Sean Lewis in a situation he's now in, but everybody's in the same situation. Trey White, what a great player from Eastlake. Put together back-to-back phenomenal years. He in the portal and is just signing. We believe he's signing now at Texas Tech, which is buying players every minute of every day. Their oil money is on the street corner throwing dollar bills at anybody that walks by. Trey White is going to be a Red Raider for 1 year. Linebacker, Owen CHAMBLISS. You know, he was a transfer in. He became a really fine football player. Coach him up. That's what they do at this level, the Mountain West Conference level. Coach him up, made him a really good linebacker. He's gone. I don't know at this point whether or not he's going to go to Nebraska and rejoin Rob Ulrich, the new defensive coordinator there, but I bet that's probably where he winds up. DWAYNE McDougal had a really good season. Cornerback Deshaun Staley, safety, both gone. Hunter Green, record-setting punter. Going to go back home, I think the University of Washington. Kyle Crum, who hardly played here, but when he played here in the fragments of 2 seasons, he was competitive, is not going to stick around. I would assume maybe he winds up at a 1AA school where he could probably play and play pretty well. And this one is the one that really shocked me out of Long Beach. J.P. MIALOVSKI was here for 1 year. Practice squad guy, didn't stick. Decided to opt out. I don't know where he's going to wind up at such a late gate, but he left. So they got, as of this morning, I had counted 25 guys in the transfer portal exiting San Diego State. They're picking up some fragments and bits and pieces. They picked up 2 linemen who have defected from Michigan State. They picked up a small college pass rusher from Gannon College in Pennsylvania. So we'll have to see. They got to go get a quarterback. They're going to have to go get more components. So what made that defense great? Going other places. I'm kind of sickened by it. It really, to me, it's too bad because these coaches worked really hard. And I subscribed to Sean Lewis's way to handle players, treatment of players, the importance of players in the program in the community, etc. He's done everything right to sales pitch it. And the players are bailing on him and the damn town doesn't support him. To me, it's almost like being hopeless. I'm sorry to be so dour about where Aztec football is right now, but I'm telling you what I see, what we're seeing on the field. And all the Cornerstone guys have jumped ship after one good season after that guy coached them up and made them good players. End of my sermon. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is tough for any Group of 5 system, and San Diego State is in that situation. But you're right. Your system's broken because first you ask, where's the loyalty? Well, the coaches don't have loyalty to players. I mean, the coaches can cut players. Scholarships are just year-by-year deals. Imagine if the college coaches are on 1-year deals and they were moving around. I mean, it'd be double chaos. So they've got to figure out a way to, when they extend an offer to a player, it's not a year-by-year gig. That it's got to be, hey, we're going to commit to you for a period of time, 2-year, 3-year, 4-year, and then you're going to commit to us. For that same amount of time. And now in the whole scheme of things, the value of the scholarship is trivial in comparison to all the NIL money that's on the table. So, just extend the scholarship for the full 4 years, and that could be the contract.
But I don't think that'll ever come. But the system is so screwed up right now by virtue of lawsuits, by virtue of the NCAA doing and not doing what they should have done, by virtue and intervention of agents and tampering. To me, I love seeing big games. I'm a big game guy. I can't wait to see Oregon play Indiana. But I'm so sick of what college football's become because now it's nothing more than money and movement.
Yeah, I mean, there's poker chips all over the table moving around. It's hard to keep up with it all.
So you got an opinion on the Aztecs? Feel free to join us. Agree or disagree with me. It's sad because he worked so hard. That coach has worked so hard to build this thing, and then all the cornerstones that he built with are jumping ship.
How do you build a culture?
Well, you got your philosophy, and you recruit players that you think will subscribe to your philosophy. But as hard as he did to sales pitch those kids about what's important and values and credibility, yeah, kids had a nice season, and he left.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can't blame the players. It's the system that's not right.
It's disheartening, I think. Aztec fans, friends, alums, Kiss My Aztec line is open. Give me your opinion. Fans Forum chat box is open. We are moving at warp speed. We're going to try to give everybody a lot of time to participate today in Fans Forum. We get to halftime. This podcast is brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. Lots of locations to serve you in San Diego. DIXIELINE has over 100 years of experience here in Southern California. They supply all the wood beams and everything to all the contractors building all these developments in San Diego County. But DIXIELINE is also something else. DIXIELINE does special things for you, the individual homeowner, you who want to do renovations, you who might be a Mr. Fix-It and have your own workstations in your own garage. John, just talk about DIXIELINE's history then and where they are now.
Yeah, I mean, DIXIELINE helped build San Diego. I mean, they've been here for over 100 years. I mean, talk about a pillar in the community. They're big in the sports community in San Diego as well. They're a big sponsor of the Aztec programs. So you got to love like a company that is in your backyard that cares about San Diego. And, it's not just some generic brand. This is a company that's got roots here forever. And so, DIXIELINE helped build San Diego. They're a big part of the builder contractor community. But at the same time, to your point, they service homeowners. And this is a great time of year to kind of plan ahead, to get your windows replaced. There's a lot of different things that you can do to fix up your home that our friends at DIXIELINE can help you out with.
DIXIELINE, go to DIXIELINE.com to see all the things they have to offer. Couple of reminders, when we're done with topics on the table, you are invited to jump on board on the live stream and join us in fans forum. Just punch up the chat box with a question, a comment, a statement, agree or disagree. John, just explain to everybody who might be new to the live stream how the fans forum works.
You should see the people online. We got Raider talk, Dodger talk, Chargers, Padres. People are talking about the playoff games. We even got people talking about Mighty 690 that are in the chat. So, hey, if you got a comment or question for Hacksaw, drop your hot take in the live chat on YouTube, on X, or on Facebook. We'll get you involved.
A couple of other notes. We're on Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30 with this podcast. We're in our 4th year doing this together. We have almost 10,000 subscribers. That's absolutely amazing. We invite you to tell all your friends. Hacksaw is back, and where to find us on the YouTube channel. It's absolutely free. Share, subscribe. When you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you will get the alerts. Ding, 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 ding. Every time John or I put new videos up there on the YouTube channel, which we do quite often. Want you to sample my website. I write about sports. First thing this morning, around your first cup of coffee, you could have been reading LeeHacksawHamilton.com. You would have had a summary of all the NFL games, all the coaching moves and the latest rumors, the latest in baseball, basketball, hockey, whatever. That's on the website. It's absolutely free. And by the way, when you go to the website, right on the homepage, there's a big orange box. Fill it out. Get on the email list so you can get the 2 newsletters that we send out every day to Hacksaw's Insiders Group. It's absolutely free. You can help us grow this thing. Give us a thumbs up. Hey, give us a 5-star rating. Hit the other things that help viewer support of this podcast. We got it covered?
Yeah, like, follow, share, and subscribe. That's the ticket, man.
Get off your ass and do something.
Okay.
So there we are. That's halftime. We go to the second half of the podcast. We had a lot of baseball because we are baseball-centric.
We are, and spring training is just around the corner, Lee, but look at the free agents talks.
Yeah, let's just update you on where we are in Major League Baseball because there are more stories that are about to break, and this involves the big names that are still out there. Let's just start with the logos. The Boston Red Sox over the weekend reopened talks for a second time and made another offer to Alex Bregman. They want him back. Now, remember, Bregman is the one that had signed a 3-year, $120 million deal last winter with the Red Sox, but it had opt-outs. So he played the first year at $40 million, opted out, walked away. He's been talking to a ton of different people. Arizona, the latest, hasn't gotten what he thought he would get. Boston's re-entered the bidding, so maybe there's another $40 million offer to get coming to get Bregman back in the fold. Philadelphia, something a little bit different. They have opened talks over the weekend with Bo Bichette, the Blue Jays shortstop. Not for him to come play shortstop because they got Trey Turner. I think for him to come play next to Trey Turner at second base. So there's rumors that Philadelphia may use what's left in their free agent bank account to go get Bo Bichette. The Mets have opened talks, and they got holes everywhere around Juan Soto. Mets have opened talks with Kyle Tucker. Tucker's been out there a long time. He was pursued as far back as early November when the window opened. They might be the first off the board, but they were playing the prices right. The report out of New York today is he's been offered at least $36 million a year to sign with the Mets. That's pretty high average value for a guy who hits .275 with 25 home runs per season. So maybe he winds up going there. The Mets have got holes all over their lineup. Toronto Blue Jays, they won the bidding. I don't know what they got. Kazuma Okamoto, 4 years, $60 million. Maybe to play third, maybe to play some first. They'll bring his booming bat in from Japan. No opt-outs. You're coming to be a Blue Jay, you're going to be a Blue Jay. We're not signing you and letting you leave. So that was interesting. The price tag on the Japanese pitchers, dipped compared to what they were asking for. A lot. So Okamoto signs in Toronto. Houston, we talked about this on Friday. Houston gets Tatsuya Imai. 4 years, $63 million with opt-outs. The problem that scared a lot of people away is that Scott Boras, the agent, wanted the big money per year for Imai, then asked for an innings bonus every year on top of the big money he was getting. And then the reality set in. The clubs are going to pay $9 to $10 million per year posting fee for each of the years that Imai is with the team. You say, what are we getting here? How much are we paying for a guy that might be a little bit of an unknown? I mean, the agent says, well, this could be the next Yamamoto. We don't know that. So now Houston winds up with him. Also, trade rumors have resurfaced now. Again, we're 5 weeks away from the start of spring training. The Brewers are shopping Freddie Peralta. And the one thing about him is he's rock solid, stable, very cost effective. And he's got a year to go on his contract at $8 million. Gives you lots of innings, lots of quality starts. They're talking to the Yankees about a Peralta deal. The Yankees have got holes in their pitching staff, too. Yankees got a pretty good farm system, so there might be a Peralta to New York transaction, and there may be a Miami Marlins to New York transaction with the deal of Edward Cabrera, power pitcher, going to the Mets. The Mets have got young pitching. They might give up one young pitcher to get the power pitcher that Miami wants to move to get some salary cap relief. So the second wave of baseball free agency is about to begin. John and I use the word dominoes. We're waiting for another domino to fall. I don't know if it's going to be Bregman or somebody else, but the Japanese guys are gone. Now we're waiting for it's about 4 big names out there still to be signed. John, reaction?
Do you think maybe that the Blue Jays were too quick to sign Dylan Cease? Because, I mean, that happened right away at the beginning of the free agency window. And then there's been this lull, and the market seems to be softening for a lot of these high-priced players. I mean, to your point, the Japanese pitchers got way less than we expected. So I'm wondering, Toronto, they're also gambling on Okamoto. They're desperate. They want to win, but I kind of wonder if they just were too anxious.
Except that Toronto did not have what I'd call cornerstone, scare the hell out of you pitchers in the rotation. Toronto beat you with their bats. And I think Toronto said, we need another strong arm. And this guy, in terms of what Cease had accomplished, this guy is trustworthy in terms of making all these starts and could be a cornerstone. And we give him runs, then maybe the weirdness to some of his starts won't kill us as much. Cease pitched so well in spurts for the Padres and was so erratic for the Padres, but they couldn't back him up because they didn't have hitting. They got hitting in Toronto. So I think they probably based the early decision on Dylan Cease just on the fact that he's a bell cow of a starter. He just takes the ball every fifth day, and he gives you lots of innings and lots of strikeouts, some good outings, some bad outings. So I think that's the rationale there. And in terms of the Japanese pitcher, Imai, he's 29. He's got a world of experience, throws the crap out of the ball, but he's only 154 pounds. And for the agent to say, well, he's the next Yamamoto. Well, I don't see the same ingredients in him that I see in terms of the craftiness of Yamamoto. And then when the price tag kept going up and up and up, even the Dodgers backed away because they didn't buy the sales pitch. And then I think the price tag just finally got too steep for the Padres because there's all these ancillary add-ons. The Padres are not going to do that. Not with their limitation in their budget. So neither one of the Japanese guys got what they expected to get. And there was a third Japanese guy who's gone back, didn't get the offer, and the clock expired.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, that's all things baseball. We cover it all. Feel free, jump on board if you have an opinion there. We go from that. Did you enjoy Saturday night basketball, Viejas Arena? My goodness.
I had like 23 heart attacks during this game. Yeah.
What a great game. I'll tell you what, I'll sign off. I buy the ticket when it's Brian Dutcher versus Leon Rice, Aztecs, Boise State. I buy the ticket. What a hell of a game. Historical 3 overtime shootout. San Diego State won 110-107. There were so many emotional mood swings in this game, John. I know why you had a headache. It was a close game in the first half. And then San Diego State went on a 20-5 burst, and then it became lopsided. And then it was a 40-15 stretch of time where the Aztecs totally dominated. Game over. They had a 24-point lead.
Yeah.
And then Boise started launching threes. And Boise started hitting threes. And then it down became crunch time. And then it was a foul fest. And Boise kept hitting free throws. And all of a sudden it was a tie basketball game. I said, how is this possible? That San Diego State let them get it away. Boise hit 12 free throws at the end of the game. 12 in a row. With all the pressure on them to stay in it, force the first overtime. And then I thought it was over. Boise had a 6-point lead in the first OT. Aztecs clawed back. Then the Aztecs had a 5-point lead in the second OT. Boise clawed back. And then B.J. Davis saved them with a loose ball at midcourt, dribble, turn with a big man on him, and launch a three from beyond the arc and hit it. That forced the third overtime. And then L.C. Harrington, the freshman, hit 3 critical baskets and free throws, and the Aztecs win it. Poor Boise. Hit 14 threes and lost. Poor Boise. 27 of 31 from the free throw line and lost. And as for San Diego State, just a monstrously big win. But where is Aztec defense gone? That's no longer here. It got lost.
Yeah, it wasn't there at all.
What a hell of a game. Man, oh man. So we move on. Aztecs go on the road to play at Nevada now as we move into the teeth of the Mountain West Conference schedule. I just don't know where San Diego State is composite as a team, but it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is let them work through it, grow it, and get to the Mountain West Conference tournament, win the damn thing, and then go to March Madness. They're not a national power, not by any stretch of the imagination. You look at the rankings right now. You know, where Arizona is, Michigan is now 1 point back, and then Iowa State's there, Purdue is there, Duke is there, UConn is there. San Diego State can't be mentioned in the same sentence with those people any longer. But they got a conference season to play, get collectively better and better, find the roles, make it work, get people hot. Let's see what the tournament brings us.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, that game was nuts. And then in the second half, you know, when the lead started eroding, I mean, by the way, the first half, they looked great. Yep. I mean, everything was working. And then in the second half, you know, the defense broke down, the shots weren't falling. And then near the crunch time at the very end of regulation and throughout the overtimes, they would miss the front end of a 1-and-1. And you're like, no, you know, and then to your point, Boise would hit their free throws. And it was just mind crushing. And then the fans all left, you know, and the players saw that and they reacted to it. And when BJ Davis hit that shot I think it was the one at the end of the first overtime, I mean, it was nothing but net. And it was with 0.4 seconds on the clock to tie the game. And it was a little bit like that Malachi Flynn shot against San Jose State about 5 years ago.
He had a 6'7" guy in his face, and he hit the three.
Yeah, that's Meadow. That guy's a punk. So, anyways, it was wild. It was a wild game. But, you know, there's something cooking with Magoon Gwath and disciplinary and kind of a bad body language. And people are saying, look, I hate to talk bad about some of these players because they're young kids, right? But there's just something that doesn't seem right with the Aztec clubhouse.
I think Gwath is struggling with the post-surgery. He's just not what he was. And I've said all along, you come off something significant like that type of knee surgery, it takes time. And there are stretches of time, despite all the rehab and therapy you do when you have that type of injury, you have stretches of time where you feel okay. And then you'll have stretches of time where you don't feel right. And then stretches of time where there's a mental barrier that if I explode on this jump, what's going to happen when I land on my knee? You know, you get very tentative. He doesn't seem to be in sync at all, and I just think there's a mental barrier there that maybe he has just not gotten by. And you know, the other thing is, you know, please tell me where Miles Bird's consistency has gone, because I don't see that at all.
It's improved. His inconsistency is improved. When he dunks, he's using both hands, you know, so he doesn't have him bounce out. But, you know, there was a lot of interesting chatter on Aztec Twitter, and we're talking about how, it's got to be hard on Magoon Guaf because he was flirting with the NBA. He was getting NIL deals, I think, from Kentucky and a lot of other big-time schools, and he decided to stay. He probably figured, okay, then I'm going to be a star. I'm going to dominate, and it hasn't worked out that way.
But he got hurt.
Yeah.
And this whole physical rehab therapy barrier, unless you've walked down that road and experienced it, you can't identify with it. And I just see there's a hesitancy, a tendency sometime in his game. I don't see the same spunk and explosiveness that I saw.
Yeah, I mean, last year he was just a revelation. He just exploded on the court. Hey, how about Leon Rice? I mean, that dude's classy.
Yeah,
he really is. And, I was watching some of the post-game interview he did with the Boise State radio play-by-play guy because they had it on their YouTube channel, and he's just a good dude, you know. And I know he's got that history with Fisher and
Dutch,
and Dutch and everything else. But I just got to give another shout out. Mark Ziegler is fantastic, and he just did his 3 things, that he does like the day after the game, and it's just he provides so much great insight. I'm learning a lot about how the referees are sanctioned and how they get alignment with certain conferences. And the Aztecs have getting some pretty sucko refs lately, but that's hopefully going to change when they go to the Pac-12.
Now, he's a great writer. He does great in-depth think pieces.
He does.
And I think he's vastly underrated. And so, appreciate him. You may not always agree with what guys in the newspaper or guys on talk radio say, but Mark Ziegler does a very good job. Okay, you got an opinion on the Aztecs. Was that cool, that game? Edge of the seat action? Yeah. We'll go from that. Last topic on the table involves college basketball, and this has not gone down well.
Look at these guys. They're saying the game is broken, Lee.
The press conferences this past weekend in college basketball were off the charts. These named coaches, John Calipari, Tom Izzo, and Dan Hurley, just went off. They went off on the leadership of the NCAA. They went off on the leadership of the different conferences. The game is broken. They are so furious about the storyline out of Baylor. The Baylor was allowed to sign a guy that was on an NBA G League contract and was allowed to come back and play college basketball. And this kid has become public enemy number 1. He played his first game over the weekend at Baylor, and he got booed by everybody, his own fans included. And this is all on the NCAA allowing this kid to come back. And Calipari, he went 11 minutes on one question. And at the end of his press conference, he said, "Gentlemen, there are no rules in college basketball. Not for us, not as it pertains to players, and this is strictly on the league headquarters in Indianapolis. They're to blame for this." And then Izzo says, by virtue of allowing guys who are in the G League to come out of the G League and play college basketball, or allow these guys that signed and were playing in the pro league in Europe to come here, you're destroying American high school high school recruits. Because everybody's going to take the quick fix and take this guy from Lithuania or some guy from the G League, and they're not going to recruit Bobby Blue Chip here. Izzo says, I'm going to recruit all of them. But they said it's unfair to the American high school kid. The NCAA is allowing these professionals to suddenly cross the street and come play college basketball. And then Hurley, who's always entertaining in his press conference, he says, you're letting the players take control of the game by virtue of all these lawsuits. He said, we need leadership. We need people that know basketball. We are now a leaderless, functionless group. Hurley was he said, did everything except use bad language in his press conference. It's totally out of control. Anyhow, that's where we are. The game is broken.
It is, but what's funny is a lot of these big-time programs, we were always suspicious that the boosters are funneling all this money under the table, paying players. Well, now everybody can pay players.
Yeah, but now they're paying players who were on pro contracts. That's what set these guys off.
Yeah, that's a legit point. I know when that Baylor kid, not really a kid, he's a young man, he was 22, he came onto the court, he was booed, and that's a bad look, the whole thing. But, when pros, like a lot of those Euro pros, they're only like 18 years old when they're playing pro ball in Europe. But, are they, quote, this is kind of like a MAGA thing. Are they taking American spots, those Euro guys? But, it's a competitive league. It's best man, it's on merit. And there's only so many D1 opportunities to go around. So, I mean, you just got to step up and go out there and compete.
Yeah,
so
but if you don't get the chance because you're going to give the money to some kid that was playing in Spain
but
on a pro contract.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the. It was the how do I say this? The Euro contracts for like 18 and 19-year-olds that are pro. Yeah, technically that violates the amateur status, the quote amateur status of NCAA, but it's not as egregious as a guy that was taken in the NBA draft, that played on the NBA summer team, that played in the NBA G League. That's a whole other, moral violation in my opinion. But yeah, but it's not just basketball, it's football. I mean, everything is a mess. And I sure as hell don't want Congress to try to fix it. So hopefully the NCAA can just get down to it and do it right.
Yeah, Dan Hurley, leaderless. He's got a lot of confidence in Indianapolis.
Well, Dan Hurley is just he's just always blabbing one thing or another.
Okay, we put topics on the table. This podcast brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. Lots of locations to serve you in San Diego. Fix it, build it for 2026. You will enjoy it at DIXIELINE Lumber. It is now your turn to be part. We're looking for a co-host to sit right next to us here. Here comes the Fans Forum chat box as we move on to the second part of our podcast. John?
Okay, let's start it off with Richard. He says, hey, Fans Forum, I feel the Dodgers' evil empire should push all of their chips in the middle of the table for a three-peat with a lockout on the way. No better time than now. L.A. needs to get Bo or Tucker.
I'll tell you what, here's a strange story. The Dodgers are looking, and I don't know whether this is agent calling the Dodgers or Dodgers calling the agent, but the Dodgers have talked about another pitching acquisition, and I don't quite understand where that came from or why they would need to make a deal. Now, they were in on Imai. The only thing is, how much is too much? Do they have a need for another starting pitcher? No. By the way, where they are with the luxury tax bill, they now, as of today, they pay 110% tax on any player acquisition coming in.
Wow, more than double.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 110% will be the tax bill. If I sign you to a contract for $25 million a year, I got to pay $25 million tax.
Yeah.
Actually, it's more than $25 million.
Yeah, a little more than that. Yeah.
So why would the Dodgers want to go get more pitching? They still have to, I think, deal with the outfield situation. It's been silent on Tucker in the last week. It's been silent on Bellinger in the last week. So it's going to be very interesting to see where this goes.
Yeah, remember, we've had a number of free agent periods where the players didn't get signed until way into February.
Well, some of that was triggered by the agents who are withholding to see where the top money guy goes because everybody plays off what the last guy got.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, imagine you're a team and you're trying to prepare. I mean, even when Manny Machado came to the Padres, he signed quite late in February, if I recall. Him and Harper hung around forever. So, yeah, maybe we're going to end up with this. I mean, Dodger fans, yeah, they're those greedy Chavez Ravine fans up there. They want a three-peat. Lee, they want a three-peat.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I know. I'm joking.
Yeah, I know.
But who knows? So you're saying they're considering pitching. They may just be, trying to jack up the market, trying to play around with it. Who knows what they're up to?
No, what they're up to is, I was told just before noon today, Dodgers are talking in Milwaukee about Freddie Peralta. Now it's a one-year rental at a very affordable price. Do they have another need for another pitcher?
Well, given the way that pitching staff has been breaking down all these years, yeah, they just keep reloading, man.
Okay, that's where we are. Thanks for joining us as leadoff hitter here. I'm talking about the evil empire.
Okay, let's go to Eric, talk Chargers. Hey, will the Chargers era of chargering continue?
It's a good question. Tough game. New England plays like hell at home. New England hasn't played anybody this season. End of the day, the Chargers still have a crap offensive line that can't protect this quarterback. Chargers have issues running the football on a consistent basis. It's going to be a huge challenge because that game's in Foxborough. And see, this is the point that I raised to John. They're going to regret screwing the beginning of the season up. How does this, quote, really good Charger team Jim Harbaugh has, how do you lose to the Giants? How do you lose to Washington? How do you lose to when Houston wasn't playing very well? You let Houston beat you, and you got just hammered when you had to go play Jacksonville. So it's going to be a huge challenge. I just don't think they can protect Justin Herbert.
Yeah, no way.
And you got two brilliant minds. If you get Jesse Minter and everything his defense is going to do to slow down Drake May, and you got everything that Vrabel and his defensive staff's going to do to try to cause problems for Justin Herbert. I fear one and done again for the Bolts.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a one-and-done thing here. But, it makes you kind of think, like, what does chargering really mean? I mean, it's one thing to get blown out. To me, chargering is losing and losing in the most excruciating way you could possibly lose.
When you had it in your pocket to win.
Yes, exactly. Or, here, when you had those bookend tight tackles on the offensive line and they're gone. But the way the Ravens lost on Sunday Night Football, that's charging.
That's gut-wrenching.
Yeah, I remember there were so many games, including the Marlon McCree game, where the Chargers would just self-inflicted wounds and just kill them.
Nonstop. And until Justin Herbert gets a postseason victory, this is going to be stapled to his driver's license as great an individual as he is during the regular season. He's yet to win a postseason game, but that's an organizational thing much more than it is a quarterback thing. So, tough game. But the fact they're playing Sunday night, that's good, gives them extra prep time. The fact that they rested the quarterback, there's so many layers and angles to Charger football going to New England. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, some more Charger talk from Jeffrey. He goes, "What, Lee? That is the best possible opponent for our Bolts. We want no part of the Texans or the Broncos D. Pats have played a couple of good teams, but mostly weaker teams. We see on Sunday."
I guess I buy a piece of that equation. The easiest one would have been Pittsburgh. And even if you had to go to Pittsburgh to play, it wouldn't matter because the Chargers have played the Steelers pretty well in Pittsburgh. But New England is really playing well. I mean, you look at all the landslide victories they've had, and Drake May is just getting the ball down the field to all of his people, and their defense is rugged. So this won't be an easy day or easy Sunday night game. It'll be fun to watch. It's really going to be fun. And Herbert and Drake May, maybe the next wave of quarterback stars in the league.
It just goes to show you how good Herbert is when they bring in Trey Lance and like nothing happens. It's the same thing with Mahomes with the Chiefs. They bring in the, Minshew and then this other third stringer, and nothing happens with them either. So these elite quarterbacks are on a whole other level. So could Herbert pull one out, and lead him to victory? Can, to Jeffrey's point, the Patriots are not as good as they think they are, not as good as they look like they are. But I don't know. I mean, Bill Parcells says you are what your record says you are, and their record's damn good. Yep. So I think it's going to be, a one and done and a long flight home for the Chargers.
We'll talk more about it on Thursday. We'll do a playoff preview on Thursday for you. It's going to be fun. They're in the postseason. That's step one. I think step two is going to be really hard. Hey, Jeff, thanks for being with us.
Okay, let's go here to Javier. Hey, the Padres signed Song-Moon Sung from the KBO. What level of play is Korean baseball? Is it AA, AAA?
I'd say it's AAA. Guy's got stroke. Guy's got a good bat. Guy hit home runs last year. He's hit home runs last 2 seasons. And he's not a kid. I mean, he's 29 years of age, got a lot of experience. They say Sung is more qualified than Hassan Kim was when Kim came here as a shortstop about 4 or 5 years ago.
Interesting.
So he played with him at Kaiwoo Heroes in Korea. So a multi-position guy. I thought, well, he played third base. Why is he not coming here to play third base? He can play short. Well, you got Xander, but he can play second too, which would mean Cronenworth could be a first baseman. But he's also such a good athlete that he could be in left field and maybe platoon a little bit with Laureano. So I think it's positive, and they got him on a very affordable contract, 4 years, $14 million.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he can stroke it, put it in play, and be multi-position, that's great. But dude doesn't pitch. We still need pitching.
We do.
And we got about 25 cents left in the budget to go find another pitcher.
Yeah, I think it's exciting. And by the way, the Padres don't have anybody at AAA in El Paso that they can bring up. Mm-hmm. So it's like having another farm team. If the KBO serves that purpose, then fine. So I'm excited for the guy. I mean, I know Craig Stammen was talking about maybe left field. That really surprised a lot of us. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. The puzzle pieces still don't fit. There's still holes. So there's more coming. I mean, this can't be it for the finalization of the Padres roster.
Well, as you would say, you must have gotten a Christmas card from A.J. Preller, though, because you're just sales pitching me that there's more coming,
There's got to be.
So, and the sales pitch is there's more coming. The sales pitch is there's only 25 cents left in the budget. The other sales pitch is if there's more coming, they have to give up something. What are they going to give up to get something? I still think they desperately need another starting pitcher. So I do agree there is another transaction coming. And the question is at what price, who, how they're going to execute it. But we got 5 weeks to see. But to get back to the original point that Javier made, Song has a very good set of credentials on his resume.
Cool. Yeah, let's check him out.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Okay, let's go to HB949 Sports Jeff. Hey, weird NFL playoff. Bears, New England, and Steelers all get the freezing 5 o'clock start. Jacksonville gets the early time slot, Sunday time slot. Good luck, Chargers, in the cold and dark in Foxborough. Oh, my.
Yeah. And the Rams, short work week, and they got to go back to Carolina, and they play the early game on Saturday. And the Rams, the last 3 losses have all been on the road. Now, that's why Sean McVay played all of his starters the entire game against Arizona. They're trying to get their rhythm back. They hope to get Devontae Adams back at wide receiver. But, hamstrings are really iffy. He's been out 2.5 weeks since that tweak. The Rams are good. There's no doubt about it. Carolina is where this whole thing started to skid away in bad weather. I don't think Carolina's a quality football team yet. That quarterback's kind of inexperienced. And what a season Stafford's had. My God. 4,700 yards passing and 46 touchdowns. Just amazing.
Yeah, flying cross country ain't easy, to have a game, the first game.
That's a short work week, and it's an early game.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. But, yeah, it's going to be an interesting season because, some of the big-time teams, like the Chiefs, are not involved. You've got other teams that you haven't seen in a while, like the Bears. But all these teams are, like, suspect. There's no monster that's rolling in here that's going to be uber dominant. I think anything could happen this year. 2 good games, though. I mean, we'll all pay attention to the Chargers-Patriots because of our linkage to the lightning bolt. But San Francisco at Philadelphia, wow. And then obviously, the Jacksonville-Buffalo game. Whew, that's about as big boy football as you can play. Yeah, Jacksonville, we're learning a lot more about Trevor Lawrence, aren't we? So I'm happy he's having success. But yeah, I can't wait for the playoffs to get going. Hey, let's go here to Arnie, talk about the Raiders. He goes, hey, I'm not a Raiders fan, but they did Pete Carroll dirty.
I thought they'd give him more time. I mean, they got all this cap space, they got all these draft picks. Why not try to retain some continuity? And they didn't do it. Yeah, so I'm kind of stunned. I think Pete deserved to be treated better. Did he fail? Yeah, this year. They failed him. Look at the crapola they gave him on the roster. So it has to be Tom Brady's call who's going to come in. But see, now you're coming in and new coaching staff, new playbook, new philosophy, probably a lot more changes on the roster. It's like a freaking expansion team. And they got all the draft picks, got all the cap space, but I thought Pete should have gotten another year. Maybe I'm in a minority. Raider fans might want to call and comment what the hell they know. They were drunk, weren't paying attention anyhow.
Well, we've talked about a number of names like Stefanski is, going to get scooped up. Do you think the Raiders would go for him?
Well, if they got to solve the quarterback issue. And they gave Geno Smith a chunk of money once they got him. And Geno had played for Pete. Now Pete's out. Is Geno, what are you going to do? Eat that contract too? They got so many layers of problems. Their roster is so deficient of talent outside of the few established really good players they have. I would have stayed the course with Pete and just added on the type of players that Pete could have coached to make it more competitive quicker. So it is big trouble in Vegas.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to be a fly on the wall in the room there, because you got Brady that's involved. I mean, Brady's going to offer some really good advice.
Yes.
But is Mark Davis going to take it?
Yeah, I don't want to hear anything from Mark Davis. Just If he shows up on my TV, I'm changing channels. I'm just not listening to that crapola. His record since 2002. That's all you Raider fans just need to go back and research. What is the composite Raider record since 2002 under his direction? Boom. Brady will carry clout. So we'll see about football intelligence, a Brady type of coach they want to hire that's going to make a big difference. Okay.
Hey, here's a two-parter from Mike, and he says, first, hey, I learned so much from you guys. Thanks for expanding my sports knowledge and acumen. But here's his main comment. He goes, hey, I also love the history of Hacksaw in the 690 episode. I watched it twice because I didn't realize how good I've had it in San Diego all this time. I moved here in 1987 at the same time as Hacksaw.
I think back now, I said, how did we do what we did with all the guys? And I talked to some of the former teammates that I had there, and we've all kind of scattered to the wind and gone different places. We did some really unique stuff, very different era, and we were allowed to do it, and we were very diverse and dynamic, and that's what and I've told the story a zillion times. I won't rehash it, but what made us successful? First, we were the first one to do it. Second, we're on a blowtorch signal. But each of our talk shows came at it from such a different angle with different personalities. It wasn't the same rigmarole. Different show talking about the same three topics. No, we were so diverse. That's what made the station just so dynamic. I think back now to think of what we accomplished. I said, my God, that was really, really cool. And again, nobody had ever done it the way we'd done it before.
Well, it was, for me as a fan of the station, I mean, obviously we know all about you and the greatness that you brought there, but guys like, the loose cannons, I mean, Chet Forty brought a whole different perspective to the world of sports. Because
lifetime experience.
Yeah, everything he's done in television, and I didn't realize he played ball, when he was in college. And then Steve Hartman was always kind of nerdy in a way, but really good at sports trivia. He seemed to know everything, and he could pull it up at moment's notice. And then, then Rome and his kind of edgy smack talking, that was great. Quintera. I mean, a lot of really great guys that we
different guys though, different styles.
Well, and then even Kaplan and BR are very different. So it was a great run. We ain't got it in radio anymore.
No, I concur. Thank you for the compliment. I thought we did a great job, too. We move on.
Okay, let's go to Surf City, Bill. Hey, that Boise State-San Diego State game was epic. So disappointed for Boise State, but boy, was it a great game.
It was amazing. I mean, early on, when the Aztecs had that big run, it was 25 run, and there was 40-15, I think, and they had a 24-point lead. I said, where's Boise's game? Now, I knew that Tyler Degenhardt had graduated, and he's playing in the CBA now, or in the NBA G League. But they had so many other guys transfer in, I thought, what happened to Boise? It's just not the same style. And then they started to peck away. And holy cow, and they started hitting all these threes. They just kept launching threes. They kept going in. Then it became a foul fest. They kept hitting free throws. And all of a sudden, there was a tie game. A 24-point lead had evaporated. So, where's Aztec defense, too, by the way? So it was a great game. So Mountain West is going to be fun. I mean, because Vegas is good. New Mexico is good. UNLV is good. Utah State is good. So this is going to be a fun conference basketball season going forward. And we just kind of walked into the hallway with that.
Yeah, I'm just happy the Mountain West season started because the first third of the schedule they underperformed expectations. I mean, certainly losing to Troy State was awful. They probably should have beaten Baylor, and they didn't. But it's even like the Boise State game. You just know there's flaws in the way the Aztec program, or at least the Aztec team is right now, where you can be so great in one half and then let it completely slip away in the other half. So it's not like your talent changes from one half to the next. It's almost like it's a mental attitude, an approach to how seriously you're going to take this and how much effort you're going to put on the floor.
Yeah, I don't see any consistency and continuity, but we got a whole conference season to build on and find it. I still think that light switch is going to be turned on, and this will be vintage Aztec defense.
Yeah, I mean, and to Surf City's point, I know he's a big Boise State guy, but good on you for saying it was an epic game, but his team didn't come through. But that's a tough game to lose.
Oh, yeah.
To lose in triple overtime. But it's just more about this rivalry is a great rivalry in basketball, and it's okay in football, but in basketball, it's fantastic.
Oh, two great coaches. They really are special people.
They really are, yeah.
Okay, we move on. Thanks, Sir City.
Okay, here's like a little more hacksaw love from Philip. Hey, good afternoon, gents. I just want to say that I truly enjoy the podcast. I grew up in Mira Mesa, and I was glued to the mighty 690 and 1090. My favorite as the best 15 minutes in sports and coaches chat about the high school sports. I'm happy that you guys and Coach Quintera's podcast to keep it up, to date, keep it up.
Yep, we keep working on it. It's different era. It's a different landscape that we live in now. People say, "Do you miss it?" I said, "Yeah, I miss the camaraderie. I miss the specialness that we had. I miss not being on the air every day." But obviously, the work that we put in, nobody knows behind the scenes. And I think back now how hard I had to work to produce the show that I just produced. I was booking all my own guests, plus doing all the shows and all the research, plus play-by-play and all the game prep. I look back now and say, God, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it now. But it's cool. It really is. And it's not. And now we have a different platform vis-a-vis these podcasts to be able to stay in touch with all the people in the past. So I think it's worked out really well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, fans are reconnecting with you, and we get to kind of relive, 30 years ago. I mean, that's how the 90s were 30 years ago. Yeah. You started here in town 40 years ago. Damn, we're old. But that was a great time, man. I mean, it was just so innovative what you guys did at 690. Nothing. I had experienced nothing like that before. And
to live through, as the voice of the Chargers, the run to the Super Bowl and what it meant to this community.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. And then live through pennant race baseball and what the Padres became under Kevin Towers and Bochy and going to the World Series a couple times and the whole Tony Gwynn experience. That's pretty cool. And we haven't quite gotten back there. We've had the last 5 years at Petco Park has really been fun for the community, really electric. So, this is a fabric. Our franchises are a fabric of our society. And, geez, to have lived through and worked through that Charger run was special, and to live through and work through seeing what the Padres did the first couple of times getting to the Fall Classic and now what they're trying to do to get back and what Petco's become, that is so cool.
Yeah, I just remember when the year the Chargers went to the Super Bowl, there's that one hotel when you're coming down the 163 towards the 8 down the hill, and they light up all the windows in blue and gold, and it was like in the shape of a lightning bolt.
Yes.
And then I remember back when they used to have that golf course across in Penasquitos off the 15, one of those holes, they had a huge painted lightning bolt that you could see when you were going southbound on the 15, and it was like right in the middle of one of the greens. And it looked great. And so everyone was so fired up. And I kind of felt a little bit of that same excitement when the Aztecs went to the national championship game a few years ago, and also some of that when the Padres have made a few of their short run playoff runs.
Yeah, the only thing with the Aztecs in the Final Four in the championship game against UConn, that wasn't here in our backyard. That was over there.
Yeah,
the tournament. But I mean, it was great to be part of and to follow, etc. But I'm talking about the events that we actually physically experienced.
Well, you not only experienced the games, but that post-game celebration after the Chargers-Steelers AFC Championship, I mean, it filled up Qualcomm.
Yep.
And they put you behind the mic.
Yep. That was cool. And do you know, speaking of history, I'm not sure on this day, you'd have to check the date for me, but on this day, it was either 63 or 64, I think it was 1963, the Chargers won the AFL championship against the Buffalo Bills on this day.
Oh, nice.
Keith Lincoln ran for 206 yards and had 133 yards in receptions in a phenomenal game. I saw that in a tidbit this morning.
Now, take me back to that time when the AFL, before the merger, was the AFL taken seriously in America back then?
Yes, because the AFL started taking NFL quarterbacks, and they were driving the price up. Everybody, they'd sign guys all the time.
But the XFL did that, or the USFL did that
for 15 minutes, and they couldn't persevere.
Yeah, so that was like a legit two parallel leagues.
Oh yeah,
that were. But it was still, one was the senior and one was the junior, right?
Oh, emotionally, that's how it was viewed. But, when Joe Namath became Joe Namath, the New York Jets, wow. And the Chargers, they were great. And George Blanda was a hell of a veteran quarterback with the old Houston Oilers. The AFL, it was a good brand of wide-open football, and they got progressively better and better, and they kept taking draft picks from the National Football League, and then suddenly there was a merger.
Did they ever have different rules in the AFL? No,
I don't think so. I think football was football. It was not vis-a-vis the Canadian Football League. No, nothing wacko.
Yeah, or in baseball they had the designated hitter was different in each league, but they used the same rules.
I think for the most part. They might have gone to a 2-point conversion in the American Football League. The NFL didn't adopt that for a long period of time.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love some of those old video clips of the old AFL, especially like the end zones, like the way they painted them where they looked at they were in diamonds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's just like a classic throwback feel.
That's right. Well, you have to. You're the smart guy. You got the smartphone. Just check the date of the San Diego Charger Buffalo Bills championship game. I think it was on this day in 1963 or 1964.
All right.
Okay, Philip, thanks for being with us.
I'll look that up right after you while you're answering this question from Callan. Hey, good afternoon, gents. It feels like the national title is now Indiana's to lose. Who stands a chance to take them down?
I'll be intrigued to see what Oregon does differently against the Indiana Hoosiers when they play the second time. Because to me, this is almost like this is the championship game. Indiana just outmuscled them. I mean, really physically battered them. I don't think that Oregon, Callum, can stand in the trenches and slug with Indiana. But I think that if they can get Dante Moore out on the flanks, throwing the football and getting it down the field and really making it a high-scoring game, then maybe Oregon has a chance to pull off a bit of a stunner. But you reflect back, for Indiana to win at Autzen Stadium where nobody wins, that was pretty impressive. And they are the much bigger, more physical, tougher team than Oregon or anybody else. And the other bracket, to me, it doesn't count for much. Ole Miss is a great story with Trinidad Chambliss and all those kids coming together after Kiffin left. And I think this is the end of the run of the Miami Hurricanes. Great defense, but I don't think anything beyond that. So Indiana-Oregon, to me, is going to be the championship game. And if the Ducks can change the chemistry of the game and maybe make it a shootout and force Indiana to play a little bit different style of football, then maybe it's different. But if it's a slugfest, I just don't think Oregon can hold up.
So this round, the games are going to be at home stadiums, or they're going to be in neutral? They're in the bowls.
Peach Bowl, Fiesta Bowl.
Right. Okay. It was just the first round where they had them at the
home field
of the higher seed, or would it be the lower seed? Anyways. Okay. So this is going to be fun. I mean, this is going to be a fun. Is this coming up this weekend or next?
This weekend.
This weekend. Oh, it's going to be great, man.
Yeah,
so we're going to have NFL playoffs and the college football playoffs.
But no, I think the college football playoffs start early. Like there might be a Friday night game, maybe a Thursday and a Friday game.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's exciting, it's not just Alabama and Ohio State,
no, it's different.
And Georgia. It's like we got some new teams, some new blood. You got the whole revival of Indiana. Is this the year the Ducks finally break through? Yep. I mean, Miami is back on the big stage, and Ole Miss and the Lane Kiffin thing. I mean, there's a lot of storylines.
I agree, but I think Oregon, Indiana, that's going to really be the national championship game.
Oh, for sure.
Callum, thanks for being with us.
Okay, let's keep on going here. And hey, here's our friend Music to My Ears, and thanks for the donation. He goes, how did you get the nickname Hacksaw? Please say you didn't name yourself.
Yeah, one of the news guys I worked with in Cleveland gave it to me. We had one night. I did sports talk. I worked with Pete Franklin at 3WE. He was a legendary acerbic talk show host. He created that type of talk show on radio way back. And I had gone to Cleveland to be the voice of the Cleveland Crusaders and kind of be his backup and then do some fill-in sports talk shows. And I was kind of stormy on the air and with a lot of opinions. Kind of unlike now. So I came off the air one night, and one of the guys stopped me in the hallway, and Newsom said, "Ooh, what a night on the air." I mean, I was arguing with everybody about everything. And he said, "You know what? You're just like a hacksaw. Ask a question, get an answer that's clear, concise, right to the point, cut through all the bull crap." And he called me hacksaw. So anyhow, I wound up going to Phoenix and I hit the floor running in Phoenix at the legendary news talk station KTAR, and Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. And those people started calling me who had relocated from Cleveland, were living in the Valley of the Sun. So the Hacksaw thing took off. So I kept it, and then obviously out here to San Diego.
Yes, when I first heard your name, Hacksaw, at first I thought it was Jack Hacksaw Reynolds. You know, I was like, does he have a radio program? What's this all about? But you were a different Hacksaw. And then you're in San Diego, and then we got Chainsaw that's here.
Yep.
You know, you guys probably cross paths.
He was in Phoenix doing rock and roll radio. And he said, you wouldn't mind if I kind of steal a piece of your name? He said, no, just make sure you send me the royalty checks. Never did. But he had a great career as an FM jock.
Yeah, Dave and Shelley, those are the
Chainsaw.
KGB guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Good stuff here.
So,
Okay, let's go here to, we got Aztec Mike. He's got something to say. He goes, how about those Aztecs? Love seeing the Boise State potato tears. Boise had their chance. They had the lead in all 3 overtimes, and the Aztecs never quit.
Now, we've yet to seen the 40 minutes of consistent basketball we're usually accustomed to at San Diego State, Mike. That's going to come. There's just too much talent there not for it to come. It's been a little erratic. It's been kind of strange, but they got a whole conference season to find it and then get themselves back in gear. And the same thing goes for Guath. I'm not giving up on Guath, but I think he's going through a real emotional barrier with the knee surgery. And can he be what he was before without fear that he might re-injure it? So I would hope that, he'll be able to get through, and I can only tell you this from experience, having been a broken down athlete. Once you go through surgery, once you go through injury, until you have actually cleared that emotional barrier that I can be what I was before, it's really, really hard. And, that game is so tough, and the, jumping and running and planting and the explosiveness. And when you've had knee injuries, that's such a different thing. So let's just give them some space. I'm not going to criticize these kids. I'd like to see this team kind of come close together. I would have thought Aztec Mike would have an opinion on what's happened to the football program.
Yeah, he's a big football guy. So if you're a San Diego State fan, this is a good time. Basketball is still fantastic. Football is going to be moving to everyone's moving to the Pac-12. There's a lot to be excited about with San Diego State sports. But to your point, though, I agree. The knee injuries, man, my daughter blew out both of her ACLs in high school. Mm-hmm. And she was playing, softball and basketball, and it just really took her down. It was really hard to come back from that.
It took me, I was a distance runner, and I injured a knee very early my freshman year, and I never, ever got healthy. And it took me a year and a half mentally to come back to the point that I could run cross country and I could do what I had to do on the hills and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was never the same after that. It's the same thing with the pitchers.
Yeah.
The elbow surgery. You can have the surgery, you can go through the rehab and do all the therapy and everything, and you could be throwing with. But do you ever get your velocity back? Do you ever get the movement back? You just don't know. And not everybody comes back at the same rate. Not everybody comes back to be the same pitcher he was prior to going down. Can they make you right to the point you can throw? Sure. But can you throw and be what you used to be? That's a 50-50 proposition. And the emotional hurdle for pitchers to go through that, it's the wear and tear mentally, because that is such a slow process. I use the word, it is such a long, lonely road to do rehab when you're a pitcher, because you're by yourself. And you might be on the roster, you might be on the DL, you might be in the dugout wearing a jersey during the game. But when they go on the road and you stay home and you got to do the workouts, and you just never know how you're going to feel day to day, and you psych yourself out because you chart everything you throw. And where's my velocity? Where's my movement? It's not there. Well, it was there Tuesday, but it's not there on Friday. It's just, the psychological struggle. So I refer to my experiences and what I know from all the athletes I've dealt with to put it at the front door for Magoon Guath. He's just going through a tough time.
He is. And, especially on a knee for a big man, you're thinking, can I trust it? If I make this cut, is it going to blow? Or is the other knee going to go?
Well, what if I come up for a rebound and come down, I step on somebody's foot, and I get another hyperextension? And that stuff happens in basketball all the time. So
it's a tentativeness. Yep. And then to your other point, if you're not what you used to be, you start beating yourself up inside. So it's hard. But you know what? The Aztecs are going up to Nevada on Tuesday. That's not going to be easy. They're also 3-0 in the Mountain West.
Yeah. Hey, conference is good, very competitive, and we'll just see where it goes. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Okay, let's get some social media in here, Lee. And let's go down here to, here's a 49ers Seahawks talk. This is from Cycle Guy. He says, hey, you need to give credit where credit is due, and my Seattle Seahawks definitely deserve it.
Tell you what, Darnold is not doing what he had done in the past in putting up volume numbers of touchdown passes, but he's managing games. Now, he's bold. He throws a damn ball on a certain coverage, or I say, oh, that's dangerous. Don't do that. And sometimes he gets away with it. Sometimes he does not. They are running the football, though. They're 2.5 deep at running back, and that Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet from UCLA, that's a pretty good power pack. And their defense is phenomenal. This defense is playing right now like it was the Legion of Doom. So, hey, they are the real deal. And I just think when you look at the pounding that they handed out to the 49ers, San Francisco's been running uphill all season with all these injuries. And to me, they've gone past the expectation I would have had. I'm just wondering if it caught up to them, and maybe this is it for San Francisco. And now they got to go on the road to Philadelphia, and that's like walking down the alley. You're going to get mugged because the Eagles' defense comes after you. So San Francisco might be done. Seattle's a real deal.
Seahawk fans have got to be just so thrilled because, to get over on one of your division rivals. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's be honest, the Rams and the Niners have been dominating that division forever. The Seattle has a couple of cups of coffee here and there. But now, Sam Darnold didn't crumble in the final game of the year. Hopefully he does well in the playoffs. But, yeah, if you're a Seahawk fan, you're thinking, all right, here we go.
And they're playing at home. I mean, I broadcast Seahawk football. I mean, that is a huge home field advantage in that stadium, much like it was in the Old Kingdom, but even so much more at Lumen Field.
12th man.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It's an electric place. Pioneer Square, where they built the new stadium on the side of the Old Kingdom, it is such a cool venue. So, and they love football. Seattle, I think Seattle's a great sports town. If I told people that if I wasn't living in San Diego, my choice would be to live up there in Seattle.
Yeah, I could see you
notwithstanding.
Yeah, but that's kind of your gig right out there. That whole Northwest.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see you being up there. Hey, let's stick around in the Northwest, talk about Oregon Ducks. And this is from Linda. He goes, last year's loss was absolutely crushing to the Ducks and their fans. We know how hard it is to win a championship. The Texas Tech fans were so arrogant, they expected to run all over the Ducks. I believe you have to earn your dues in this championship, and each time you participate, you learn things. You become better able to handle the pressure.
I think you have to learn to win at this next level, and postseason play is a very, very different level. I think the Ducks have a great coach. I think Dan Lanning is driven. I think he's creative. I think he's just really special in terms of being a leader, and he's got great talent. My God, their talent level is unsurpassed. I think this game with Indiana, this rematch is just going to be special. It can't be a slugfest. I just don't know that Oregon can hang in there with Indiana if it said we're going to run the ball and you're going to run the ball. I think they got to open it up. But they got Dante Moore. I think he's explosive as a quarterback, and they got skill guys, and so it's going to be a great game. I think this is the championship game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Remember Dante Moore was originally at UCLA?
Yeah.
And he didn't even play that first year, did he?
Well, everybody at that point was redshirting, and he opted out and transferred.
Yeah. So when he opted out and went to Oregon, I was like, okay, well, we'll see how he does. And he's lit the world on fire.
Yeah, he's had a year and a half of really vibrant football. He's gotten better and better. His second season is so different from what he was last year. Big story is what happens when these playoffs are over. Does Dante Moore go to the NFL? Because the general consensus is if he goes, then it's either Mendoza and his intelligence at quarterback, or Dante Moore and his explosiveness as an athlete will be picks 1 or picks 2.
Well, then you got to go. If you're going to be one of the top 2 picks, you got to take the money. Okay, let's keep going here. Talk some Padres. And this is from Luis. He goes, hey, the correct moves. Fire A.J. Preller. He made bad moves. He re-signed Machado, a toxic player, and signed Bogarts and extended Darvish. He traded Hosmer and still owed money. He lost in another trade of important players in the trade for Soto. Lost key players C.J. Abrams, Mackenzie Gore, James Wood. I don't understand why he's still working for the Padres.
Well, it's a huge question. I mean, that's his methodology of doing business. I think you'd agree with me, though the environment of baseball in San Diego is so different at Petco Park now by virtue of all the wheeling and dealing that Preller's done. I don't subscribe to all of his trades and his transactions. I think he's overspent an awful a lot. But they're close. They are so close. But maybe it's slipping away because of the age and the injury situation to the pitching staff. His contract extension has not happened yet. Maybe it's still going to happen, but we're not at this point in time. He seems to be the guy that is still going to call the shots. So the burning question is, how close are we? Can the situation get better? Will they get there? Will they get it over the top? Can they be a playoff team and go deep into October? Has not happened yet. Come close, but has not happened yet. But is there house cleaning coming? No.
I mean, who else would you want? I mean, is there who's the hot GM candidate right now? Do you know?
There are all some Ivy Leaguers, and he's an Ivy Leaguer, so.
Yeah, he's Cornell, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's see what the next 5 weeks bring, because this roster is not the roster we're going to have opening day. There'll be more additions, maybe a few deletions along the way, but I don't think there's any changeover coming unless there's new ownership coming, and that doesn't happen in 15 minutes.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is that the Washington Nationals, they got Gore and they got Abrams, but they're talking about trying to trade them.
Well, that's because ownership doesn't want to pay the pending prices when these guys are about to become free agents.
And what the hell happened to Washington Nationals ownership? I mean, they were spending big money with Strasburg and and Harper. Yeah,
yeah,
no, Harper was originally taken by them in the draft.
So yeah, the Lerner family decided to change their ownership structure and philosophy. I don't view them as being small market Pittsburgh, but they're obviously not big market New York or Boston. So it's different. But they've got a bunch of cornerstone guys. Now, you can say, hey, listen, let's just keep these kids and build around them, because Mike Rizzo, the former general manager, had built a good farm system. But others may say, listen, I don't want to pay that $40 million a year to Mackenzie Gore. So you turn around, swap Gore, and try to get 4 players in return for Gore that are controllable. I mean, there's multiple ways to do your business. Remains to be seen how this is all going to work out.
Well, you mentioned the Pirates small-town team, but they just signed another free agent.
Well, they signed the Padre first baseman, Ryan O'Hearn.
No, but they signed someone else like in the last day or two.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of it. But at the end, they have not spent consistently. They've hardly spent in free agency at all. And their farm system has developed pitching. They do have depth of pitching. They still have enough major league players.
Yeah, but they're probably doing whatever they can to hang on to Paul Skeens.
Well, they have to,
from
a credibility standpoint. Mm-hmm. That's why it's going to be interesting to see what the next labor agreement is going to be like.
Okay, let's go hear some Raider talk. This is from Ken. Hey, they sure made a mistake hiring Carroll, just like McDaniels, Mike White, Dennis Allen, Hugh Jackson, Norv Turner, Lane Kiffin. See a trend here?
Oh, yeah. It's all at the front door of Mark Davis. Am I right or am I right? Sell the team. I mean, it's a disgrace what Raider football is. I mean, when you're all making money, how can you make that many mistakes in terms of hirings and the people you hire that make all these bad draft picks, et cetera? It's just disgusting. Please tell me, outside of Max Crosby, outside of maybe Colton Miller and Brock Bowers, and then, of course, Ashton Genty, please tell me in the last decade who they have drafted. And they've had a lot of high draft picks. And you go back and look at Gruden's draft, just despicable. So you're the one that's got the spare time. You just do the research. Your homework assignment will be by Thursday's podcast. Tell me how many blown first, second, and third round draft picks the Raiders have had since Gruden. I mean, I wrote a column on it maybe a year ago. Staggering.
Well, do you think Gruden is more bravado than he is as a genius head coach?
Gruden won in Tampa Bay with Tony Dungy's players.
Right.
And then, obviously, Gruden got to the Raiders to the Super Bowl, but at the end of the day, Short term, and then he self-destructed.
Well, it was interesting because he had like a really good career. What's he doing? Monday Night Football, I think.
Sure.
And, he's terrific behind the microphone. But the other teams just kept throwing money at him, and he kept turning them down. And then finally, Al Davis said, okay, we're going to give you $100 million over 10 years. Mm-hmm. And so he finally stepped into it. But I'm wondering if he regrets that. Well, he's getting paid, but I wonder if he regrets it because he knew that he could never live up to this, the aura, the brand image of what John Gruden is.
He created an aura. He won with somebody else's players, obviously given the opportunity to coach the brand that is the Raiders. But the problem is Al Davis was still making the draft picks, and Al Davis was senile. Al Davis's drafts were, a.k.a. Jamarcus Russell, bad.
Yeah, Al Davis.
So that's where we are. It's
the vertical game.
Yeah. At the end of the day, Mark Davis, you are not your father, Al Davis. Sell the freaking team.
Yeah, totally. Sell the team. I agree here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, some labor talk here in Major League Baseball. This is from Just Another Day. And the problem with the salary floor minimum is that a lot of bad contracts get handed out to guys that really don't deserve it, just like the NBA.
Well, the floor, though, mandates that Pittsburgh, Detroit, Kansas City have to spend up. So the floor will mean more money has to be spent by the mid-market teams, Miami, Tampa Bay, etc. Now it's up to your baseball executives to spend the money correctly. Will there be mistakes? Yeah, but you're not going to give $30 million to bad players. You're going to figure a way to get the right second and third veteran starter to join your staff, which makes your team better. Prime example. Miami's got a really good young pitching staff, a lot of young pitchers. Now, historically, they've kept trading guys away. But if you have a floor to spending, you have to spend the money, you keep the guys, and you get floor to spending, you go get one veteran pitcher. Not every guy is going to be a bust. So that's on your baseball people not to make mistakes. The history is the NFL has a hard cap and a floor to spending. Now, you might be incompetent, a.k.a. the Bengals or the Raiders. So you're screwed your franchise up. But at least you're spending to get good. You should be spending to get good players in there. NBA's got the same structure. NHL's got the same structure. Baseball's the only one that doesn't. Baseball's disparity, John, is so bad. And I'm not blaming the evil umpire, but the disparity that's allowed to exist in baseball is so bad because they don't have a floor to spending. They can solve that, which makes everybody get more quality veteran players on your roster, which collectively makes it a better team. Yes? No?
Well, are the owners opposing the floor to spending because they are protecting some of the other owners from pocketing money, or are they afraid to bring up the floor because they know a ceiling's going to be brought up?
The union is the one that's afraid to agree to a floor because they say Rob Manfred will demand a cap. But if it's working across the street in the NFL, the NBA, and the NHL, why wouldn't you want a system that's structurally sound?
Yeah. It just seems that some markets, like what John Fisher was doing in Oakland, was just like a scam. It's just completely screwing over the A's fans.
Yeah, and now he's spending money because they're getting ready to go into Vegas.
Right.
But if you had a floor to spending, you would have forced him to get veteran players who are good to come be part of the kids you're building with.
Yeah, and that just goes to show you that he wasn't trying to win. He wanted the negative PR, so it's easy for him to leave town. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so some of these owners, it's trouble.
So we'll see where it goes. I hope there's not a work stoppage, but I think to get from where we are at this hour to where we're going to be at the end of 2026 is going to take some time, and it's going to take a lot of negotiations for the good of the game, not just the good of one group, etc.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do two more here.
Two more. Okay. Speaking of the evil empire, let's talk about the Dodgers. This is Joe. He goes, a lot of people talk about how much the Dodgers spend on players. Very few of them mention that the Dodgers' revenue in 2024 was higher than anyone else's. Their payroll to revenue ratio is higher than everyone except the Mets. Would their fans who are footing the bill rather have them not spend money on players?
No, concur. You've got a luxury tax, which is pretty steep. And, of course, the Dodgers right now are over the third level of the luxury tax. As I told John early in the podcast, any acquisition the Dodgers make going forward now will be 110% tax of whomever they sign. If they make the Freddie Peralta deal to get the veteran pitcher from Milwaukee, for example, or if they sign Kyle Tucker, or if they make a trade for Duran of Boston or Stephen Kwan of Cleveland, there's probably one more Dodger transaction coming. They're going to pay a 110% tax of whatever contract they bring on. So that's writing more checks, etc. I don't know that baseball needs a salary cap because the luxury tax has got pretty good teeth, but baseball definitely needs the floor to spending, which would change everything. So I'm not condemning the Dodgers. I call them the evil empire because it's kind of a catchphrase for anybody that spends the kind of money that the Yankees did, the Mets did, the Red Sox did, the Dodgers did.
Yeah. I mean, the Dodgers do a damn good job. I mean,
Yes.
you just got to, and they have advantages that other teams don't have. But, you look around the league and there are crap owners, there are crap general managers, there are teams that are cursed that have never had success. And then there's the Dodgers, and at least certainly this decade, it's been a pretty good run and they're still running. You could say maybe some bad lucks last decade, but, right now, everything's working for them.
When in the history of mankind, you and I have been sports fans for a long time, everybody watching us been sports fans for a long time. When in the history of mankind did you ever think you'd hear the Yankees whining about what somebody else might be doing in free agency? Yankees are catching a lot of heat. The Steinbrenner family about you're not what you used to be when George ran it, et cetera. And then Hal Steinbrenner talks about budgets and all that. He says, well, other people do it differently. Well, the other people are out here on the West Coast. What would you ever think you'd hear the Yankees whine about somebody else playing the role of evil empire? But they are.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. Okay, this is our last one for the day, and this is a shout out to you, Hacksaw. This is from Mr. What does that say? Arizona Ranger. Hey, been listening since 1988. Mighty 690. The loose cannons roamed and saw from 3 to 7. Love Hacksaw and everything he does.
Well, thank you very much for the kind comments. I enjoy working it. We're a little fanatical about being fanatical, but that's who we are, and that's the way we are done it. This podcast has just rocketed. You cannot believe when this thing started, I had no idea that we could evolve this the way it has, and we're on 9 or 10 or 12 different social platforms now. It's his fault. Guy works pretty well out in left field by himself. But no, this worked well. It's just a lot of fun. And we put a lot of topics on the table. Hope you enjoy it. And with the fact we give you a window to sound off is kind of cool. So I hope you can help us grow. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a 5-star rating. It really helps us grow this. This thing has just really rocketed.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, we're not charging people for this. This is free, So the way you can kind of fulfill the other half of the bargain and help us out is by interacting and engaging with the podcast. So that's why the thumbs up, it helps the algorithm, that helps us, get more exposure. And the 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts is very helpful as well. So, but I'm thrilled as a fan of what you guys did at 690 to see that there are so many other people out there like me that felt it then and are enjoying it now.
Well, spread the word. That's the only thing we can ask you. No, as I would say on talk radio, you owe me, damn it. Spread the word to your friends about Hacksaw's Back and what John and I are doing because it's really cool. We hope you have enjoyed this podcast. Thursday, we're going to preview the college football playoffs, the Thursday-Friday games, and the NFL wildcard weekend that begins. It's going to be fun, so make sure you join us Thursday at 1:30. Podcast brought to you by Dixieline Lumber and Home Centers, locations to serve you across Southern California. Go to Dixieline.com to see what they have to offer to you. John, take a deep breath. Is it Thursday yet? Cannot wait for Thursday college football, Friday's Indiana-Oregon game, and then all things. Starting with the Rams on Saturday, the Chargers come Sunday night.
It's going to be lit, man.
It's going to be fun. Have yourself a great day. We will see you come Thursday at 1:30 on Hacksaw's Headlines.
Join us again for Hacksaw's Headlines on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And find the audio version on your favorite podcast apps. For more content, go to LeeHacksawHamilton.com.